So today I thought I would talk about what's on my spring sewing wish list. Recently I have been getting more into sewing, embroidering, making my own clothes, and I want to start making clothes to add into my wardrobe. So I thought I'd talk about kind of the planning process of picking out what I want to make, what fabric I want to make it with, and if I have a pattern that I'm going to use in mind. So if you're interested in seeing what I am planning on making to add to my wardrobe this spring, just keep watching. Okay, so before we get into kind of the actual pieces of clothing that I'm going to make, I do really quickly want to talk about kind of my lifestyle and things like that, just so the reasoning behind why I want to add it to my wardrobe makes a little bit more sense. I do live in the Pacific Northwest, so of the US. So we have a pretty stable climate year round. I'd say on average it's about 60 degrees, so not too hot, but also not too cold. And that also means that a lot of my clothes I rewear year round. With that being said, I do like to kind of dress for the seasons with maybe the colors or the patterns or fabrics that I'm wearing. I also work from home, at least right now during the pandemic, and I have an office job, so I am sitting pretty much the entire day, or at least 8 hours. So I'd say the work portion of my day is business casual. Sometimes I can even get away with casual. And then outside of work, I definitely dress pretty casual, I would think. So now let's get into the actual pieces that I'm planning on adding to my wardrobe. First up, I have a t-shirt that I've actually already made. I just finished it yesterday, so I'm going to include it in this video. This is the t-shirt that I made. I will put a cutaway of me actually wearing the t-shirt since I think that's easier to see what it looks like. It is made out of 100% linen. It's actually made out of a pillowcase that I was no longer using. Just a single pillowcase. So I definitely had to kind of do a little engineering to make sure that all of the shirt pieces could fit onto the fabric that I had. But I think it worked out really well. I definitely learned a lot since this is one of the first few clothing items that I've made, at least in the recent years. And so if you do want me to make a video talking about specific things that I learned making my first few pieces of clothing, let me know down below. I did base this t-shirt off of another t-shirt that I had. This t-shirt is what I used as sort of a pattern. I just traced this t-shirt onto the fabric and looked up a little bit about how to make t-shirts, but then kind of did a lot of guesswork. So I think for that, it turned out really well. You can tell the two side by side look really different on my body, and I think that's because the fabrics are different. This t-shirt, the model is 100% cotton, and so it's not an entirely different fabric, I don't think, but they do sit very differently on the body. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with this piece. Hopefully I'll get a lot of wear out of it, especially in the warmer months. So now on to pieces that I actually want to make in the next couple months. The next kind of item that I have planned that's next on my list is a pair of long, loose linen pants. these are, I think, increasing in popularity. I see them a lot on Pinterest. I even see them a lot at places like Target or Old Navy. And I think they're just so great. They're really comfortable. They're great for the warm months, but they're also long pants. So they're also good for those evenings that are maybe a bit cooler, especially up here where I live. So I will pop up a couple pictures of from Pinterest that I found that are serving as the inspiration for these pants. I do want to make them in a dark brown, maybe kind of tan, medium brown color. I haven't decided. I think that'll depend on what fabric I'm able to purchase. I do want to use 100% linen again. It just seems so easy to work with, especially for a beginner like myself, and I like the way that linen looks. Again, for the pattern, I'm going to be using a piece that I already own in my wardrobe. I do have these loose pants from Old Navy. I got them, I think, a couple years ago now, or it might have been last year, and I really love them. These are kind of a nice cream color, but I want something darker, maybe when I'm going out somewhere and I don't want to spill something on my pants for situations like that. These pants do have 2 sets of pockets. I'm not sure if I'll add in the back pockets, but pockets don't seem to be too difficult. Maybe just the measuring part. I think the hardest part about these pants will be the waistband. These have a pretty complicated waistband, I think. It's mostly elastic around, and then this front part has no elastic, and it has these tie threads. So I am not entirely sure how I'm going to do this. I might just end up putting an elastic all the way around, just to make it easier for my first pair of pants. So I'll see. I might also do some researching online to see if there are some tutorials where I can learn how to do this elastic waistband, but I don't think it'll be too difficult. I definitely think I am up for the challenge. The next piece that I want to try making, which will definitely be after the pants, is a longer midi length dress. I will put up a picture of what I'm thinking of. This is actually a picture based on a pattern that I can purchase, and I do plan on purchasing it. The pattern is from Tint of Mint, and it's her longer wraparound short sleeve dress. I will put a link to her pattern down below. She also has a video showing how she uses the pattern to make the dress, which I think will be really helpful. I have watched the video. There doesn't seem to be too much kind of crazy with that pattern, so I think I will be able to make it. I think the hardest part with this dress will be picking out a fabric to use, which sounds a little silly, but I think I want to make it 100% cotton. I just don't know if it's gonna fall the right way on the body, especially because she used a fabric called viscose twill. She has mentioned that any fabric would work for that dress, so I think I will still give it a try using a cotton fabric. I also want to use a print this time. A lot of the 2 earlier pieces of clothing that I talked about are all plain, so I do want to add some pattern into my wardrobe. I am thinking of doing a mustard floral, small floral print. Um, I was thinking about rust orange or maybe even green or light blue, but I think now looking at my wardrobe, a mustard yellow dress would be a really nice addition. If that doesn't work out, then I'll do a light green. So this piece is definitely in the pre-planning stage, and I will probably get to this later in the spring months. The last thing that I want to talk about is a bag. I want to make a tote bag. I have made one before. Again, here's what it looks like. There are a lot of mistakes that I can see, and I honestly don't think it's gonna last that long. I didn't really overlock the edges correctly, so I think there's going to be a lot of fraying. So I would like to make another canvas embroidered bag. I also, this next one that I make, I want to add a cotton lining. Hopefully that means it'll just be easier to take it to the grocery store and bring stuff back in it. I think it would also make it easier to wash if it gets dirty. This is the same canvas fabric that I used in my first bag, and I want to reuse again. And this is another old pillowcase that I'm no longer using. It's a kind of indigo blue pillowcase. I think I can cut it up and use as lining in a bag. So that's everything that's on my list to make in the next couple months. It's mostly clothes and an accessory, which I think will be a good addition to my wardrobe. I am starting to pay attention to my style. I really want to build a style that says something about me and is more personal. And I think sewing your own clothes is a great way to do that. It's also a great hobby. I do love making things, so this is right up my alley. I would love to know what you're planning on making or you're working on at the moment. And if you have any suggestions for me, I would love to hear them. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.